Something massive is brewing in Detroit right now, and I need to talk to you about it before this situation gets completely out of hand. Welcome to Lions News Fan Report, your home for the latest breaking news, insider updates, and all the rumors surrounding our beloved Detroit Lions. I'm bringing you something today that's going to shake up everything you thought you knew about this team's direction, and trust me, you're going to want to stick around for every single word of this, because what I'm about to reveal could change the entire trajectory of our franchise for years to come. When you look at what's happening with our roster right now, there's a pattern emerging that most people aren't talking about yet. The front office has been making some very interesting moves lately, decisions that on the surface seem like standard team building, but when you dig deeper and connect the dots, a much bigger picture starts to emerge. I've been following this team religiously for years, analyzing every transaction, every draft pick, every coaching decision, and something doesn't quite add up with the current strategy we're seeing unfold. Let me paint you a picture of where we are right now as a franchise. The 2026 free agent market isn't exactly overflowing with options for us, especially when it comes to protecting our most valuable asset. We're looking at potentially landing center Tyler Linderbaum or tackle Rashid Walker, but beyond that, the cupboard is pretty bare. That means our scouting department and draft room are going to have to work absolute miracles to fill some critical gaps on this roster, particularly at right guard and left tackle. Now, here's where things get really interesting, and this is something that should have every Lions fan paying close attention. Taylor Decker has started dropping some pretty ominous hints about his future with this team and with the NFL in general. These aren't just throwaway comments in post-game interviews. These are deliberate statements that suggest he's seriously contemplating what comes next for him. When a veteran of his caliber starts talking like that, you have to read between the lines and understand what it means for the organization moving forward. Think about our offensive line situation for a second. Right now, Penei Sewell and rookie Tate Ratledge are the only offensive linemen who feel like absolute locks to return and start next season. That's it. 2 players on an entire offensive line that we can count on with certainty. That's not the kind of stability you want when you're trying to build a championship contender, and it's definitely not the kind of protection you want for your franchise quarterback. Speaking of which, let's talk about what all of this means for the most important position on our team. Jared Goff has been the face of this franchise, the leader of our offense, the guy we've built everything around. But here's the thing that nobody's really discussing openly yet. The moves this organization is making right now suggest they might be preparing for a future without him. I know that sounds crazy. I know some of you are probably already typing angry comments, but hear me out, because the evidence is starting to pile up. The Lions don't own a third-round pick in 2026 because of the trade-up for Isaac Tesla last year, which means every selection we do have becomes even more valuable. So when you look at the mock drafts circulating right now, when you see the positions we're targeting, when you analyze the type of players we're scouting most heavily, a very specific strategy emerges. We're looking at offensive tackle Caden Proctor from Alabama with our first-round pick, a player who immediately solves our left tackle problem if Decker retires. Proctor is ranked as the 3rd best offensive lineman in this draft class, and his numbers are absolutely elite. He allowed just 1 sack this entire season for the Crimson Tide, only 3 quarterback hits, and just 16 total pressures, according to Pro Football Focus. Those are franchise left tackle numbers, the kind of protection you build your entire offensive line around. Even if Decker decides to play 1 more season, having Proctor learn behind him would be the perfect mentorship situation. But here's what's really telling about this potential selection. You don't draft a left tackle in the first round if you're confident in your current quarterback situation long term. Let me explain why. When you invest a premium first-round pick in offensive line protection, especially at left tackle, you're making a statement about your commitment to protecting the quarterback position for the next decade. But if you're fully committed to your current quarterback, if you believe Goff is the guy for the next 5 years, Why are you so desperately focused on rebuilding the entire offensive line from scratch? Why not use that first-round pick on a defensive playmaker or a skill position player or literally any other position of need? The answer is simple. They're preparing for a transition. Then we move to the second round, where the Lions are targeting Emmanuel Pregnon from Oregon. This kid started every game at left guard for USC in 2024 and didn't allow a single sack at that position, not one. He's an overpowering guard who scouts believe has the tools to become a long-term starter in the NFL. Left guard has been a revolving door for us this season, with Christian Mahogany, rookie Miles Frazier, Coyote Awasika, and Tristan Colin all getting looks at that spot. None of them have impressed enough to make us feel like we've found our answer there. So now we're looking at potentially drafting 2 offensive linemen in the first 2 rounds, completely rebuilding the left side of our offensive line, creating an entirely new foundation for whoever's going to be taking snaps under center. And that's the key phrase right there, whoever's going to be taking snaps. Not Jared Goff specifically, but whoever. That's the kind of language you use when you're building for flexibility, when you're creating options, when you're preparing for multiple scenarios. Our current depth at tackle, with Dan Skipper and Giovanni Manu, is nowhere near good enough to provide the kind of pass protection a franchise quarterback needs for years to come. Proctor would solve that problem immediately, giving us a cornerstone piece to build around. Pregnon would give us stability at guard, creating a powerful left side of the line that could protect any quarterback we decide to put back there. Here's what I think is really happening, and this is pure speculation based on the patterns I'm seeing. The Lions are building a quarterback-proof offensive line, a unit so dominant that it doesn't matter who's taking the snaps because they'll have all day to throw. That's the kind of line you build when you're not sure who your quarterback is going to be in 2 or 3 years. That's the kind of investment you make when you're preparing for a major transition at the most important position on your team. Now, does this mean Goff is definitely leaving? Of course not. Does it mean the organization has lost faith in him? Not necessarily. But what it does mean is that they're being smart. They're being proactive. They're preparing for every possible scenario. Whether that's Goff retiring, Goff getting injured, Goff declining in performance, or simply Goff's contract situation becoming untenable, the Lions are making sure they have the infrastructure in place to succeed regardless of who's under center. The depth chart ranked by NFL Draft Buzz and various other scouting services consistently has Proctor as a top 3 offensive lineman and Pregnon as a top 3 interior offensive lineman. Those aren't developmental projects. Those are day 1 starters who can anchor your offensive line for a decade. You make those kinds of investments when you're thinking long-term, when you're building something that transcends any one player, even your franchise quarterback. So, what does all of this mean for us as Lions fans? It means we need to prepare ourselves for the possibility of significant change. It means we need to trust that this front office knows what they're doing, that they're seeing things we're not seeing, that they have information we don't have access to. It means we need to stay optimistic and excited about the future, because whether Goff is part of that future or not, this team is building something special. The pieces are being put in place for sustained success, for championship-level football, for the kind of roster that can compete year after year regardless of personnel changes. That's what great organizations do. They build systems and infrastructures that outlast any individual player. And right now, that's exactly what the Detroit Lions are doing. So here's my question for all of you watching. Do you think the Lions are preparing for life after Jared Goff? Do you believe these offensive line moves are just about depth and protection, or is there something bigger happening here? Are you excited about the possibility of change, or does this worry you? I want to hear your thoughts in the comments below because this is a conversation every Lions fan needs to be having right now. If you want to stay updated on all the latest Lions news, rumors, and insider analysis like this, make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so you never miss a video. We're here every single day bringing you the content you need to stay informed about your Detroit Lions. Drop a like on this video if you found it valuable, and let's keep this conversation going in the comments. Until next time, keep the faith, stay hungry, and let's go. Lions!